Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
This podcast is brought to you by LUX Wines, importer of fine wines, bringing you exceptional wines from esteemed winemaking families: Allegrini, Argiano, Jermann, Piero Pan, Poggio al Tesoro, Renato Ratti, and Tornatore. Find out more at luxwines.com.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast with me, Monty, Waldin. My guest today is Felix Jermann.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
So your family winery is the Jermann Winery.
Yes, exactly.
Whereabouts are you and why? Family history.
We are quite in a unique place in Italy. Not a lot of people recognize it as Italy. It's right on the northeast side of Italy, right on the border with Slovenia and just below Austria.
Which region? The Friuli region?
Friuli, exactly, yeah. And basically the reason we find each other now in Italy, but it wasn't always Italy. We used to be underneath the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and actually my the starter of our family, Anton Jermann, he migrated down from Burgenland into Slovenia.
So Burgenland is in Austria.
Exactly. And into Slovenia, Biljana, and then moved down to Villanova di Fara, where we have our historic estate now.
Was your land originally part of the Austrian Empire then?
Exactly.
Okay, so that after the First World War in 1919, the Treaty of Trianon, I think I'm correct in saying, as a reward to Italy gained some land from Austria.
Exactly, they kind of conquered it.
So that was where your family's from. So,
that's where.
But do you feel more Austrian or Italian, or how you're the way just look at, you can't see him, but the way you look like you're a very open-minded guy, multicultural. Yeah, just the way you dress. You're not like a formal. You're not like turn up in a suit and a tie. But do you feel more Italian or more Austrian, or just you're you?
I'm definitely me.
That's an understatement.
My family has always been very attached to the culture of Austria and our Austrian-Hungarian Empire traditions, and that reflects also in our wines. So we are Italians, but we're definitely very different than the normal ones. I'm also blonde-headed, and it's people. I travel the world, and nobody recognizes me as an Italian.
Okay, so you have an Italian passport with Austrian blood.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that has an influence on the grape varieties you work with and also the wines that you make. So let's just go through the wines one by one. Are you working with native grape varieties or just Chardonnay, Cabernet?
We don't make any Cabernet. we basically mainly work with native grape varieties because those are the grape varieties that can really excel in our area. And then of course we have some international grape varieties like a Chardonnay, like a Sauvignon, and Pinot Grigio, which is from Italy, but it's basically produced in a lot of areas. Of course, in our area it's very unique and has a sense of place. But the most important variety that represents the area, the Friuli, in my opinion, is the Ribolla Gialla.
So that's Ribolla Gialla, the yellow Ribolla.
Yellow Ribolla, yes, exactly.
So, and how many different styles of Ribolla Gialla do you make?
We currently only make one. Basically, clear vinification.
You press the grapes, you collect the juice, you ferment. You're not doing a skin contact Ribolla.
No skin contact Ribolla, no.
Why don't you do a skin contact Ribolla? Because it has been so trendy to do that in your region. These orange wines or yellow wines or whatever you want to call them.
This has not really been part of our tradition. The skin contact was how the ancient Romans used to make the wines, and at the time it made sense to make it like this. Now they kind of brought it back to kind of have a distinct kind of taste, a distinct style, but we don't identify with this style. Our style, it's very precise, clean wines that represent the characteristics of each variety.
So you think the skin contact is actually, that kind of wine is nullifying the varietal characteristic?
It gives it other characteristics that are not characteristic we're looking into a wine. So
what are those that you're not looking for? The kind of
the Ribolla Gialla already has a very thick skin, and hence when you actually macerate it, it has a lot of tannins when you feel it. And we want to have more of a round mouthfeel, kind of more smooth with great acidity, but a good structure as well. For us, it's very important that a consumer, that that I myself and you could drink a whole bottle by ourselves and actually finish another one with not even thinking twice.
Should we try?
We should. But and we are really focused on the enjoyment of the drinkiness, and also the ease of drinking our wines.
And you're saying that you can't have that ease, or you find it
with the tannins? It's for different palates, definitely. Yeah. But with the tannins, tannins. It has more structure. They're more bold, a little bit heavier wines, and it's as well also with the aging. It's also different. We believe that in our way, our wine can age much better as well and for longer. Like we right now, Ribolla Gialla 2014, which is like 4 years old. It actually shows beautiful right now. We've actually opened some older vintages of Ribolla Gialla from the first ones, like 85, 86. 85 actually was a great vintage, and it's with the great acidity. It still shows freshness and vibrance. 85, whereas 86 was a little bit warmer vintage, so it was a little bit maybe a little bit more oxidized, more mature than it was. But we really have this long-term view on our wines.
You look like you're about 15 as well. I mean, when were you born? You talk about these wines at 85 like you're some old man reminiscing about, I remember when my youth.
No, I'm 22. I'm 22.
22?
Yeah, 22, yeah.
Right, so you were just about born then?
No, it was like 10 years after that.
Oh, 1990, got my maths is very bad. 1990, mid-1990s?
96. But we are fortunate enough to have these wines in our cellar, so even though I wasn't born then, I can understand the vintage and everything through drinking these wines and having their evolution, which is fascinating.
Come on, if I met you on the street and I look, you're kind of dressed in quite a funky alternative way, and you say you're from Friuli, yeah, and I say this guy's going to make like 3 skin contact white wines, orange wines, whatever you want to call it, amphora wines, all that kind of stuff, and you're just saying that's just not my cup of tea. Yeah?
That is not our cup of tea. No, you're
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's the Ribolla Gialla. Do you make a field blend as well? What's that all about?
Yes, so we make actually 2 symbolic and signature wines, which is one is the Vintage Tunina and one is the Capo Martino. They are both field blends in the sense that they come from one single vineyard. It's a delimited single vineyard.
So that's the name of the vineyard, is it? Tunina?
Vintage Tunina is the name of the wine, and actually Tunina was the first owner, Antonia, actually the first owner of this 1 hectare of land, which my father and my grandfather acquired in the late 60s. And in 1975, my father then decided to vinify it together, so collect all of the grapes together, all at the same time, all one harvest, press them together, and have all of the vinification process until the bottling together. So it's these 5 grapes are born together, they live in the same place, in the same vineyard, and in the winery they also have the same treatment. They are together.
So it's a co-fermentation when you ferment everything together.
Yes, it's everything is. So it's basically pressed together. Fermentation comes together. It's a whole big family.
And what is it? And in terms of style, is this like a very rich wine? Is it a buttery wine? Is it a really zingy, fruity wine? What is it?
It's a very vibrant wine that has a lot of characteristics from all these 5 grape varieties, which is the Chardonnay, the Sauvignon, the Ribolla Gialla, Malvasia, and Picolite. So all of these 5 grape varieties add a unique note to it. The Sauvignon adds some like elderberry, touch of white flower with some greenness to it. The Chardonnay as well brings us more vanilla notes, a little bit more roundness to it as well. Malvasia brings aromatics, whereas the Ribolla Gialla brings great acidity and also some citrus notes on the nose. Whereas the Picolite, which is kind of the cutest grape because it's really small.
It's a bit like piccolo, small.
Yeah,
small berries.
It's small berries, exactly. Normally we make sweet wine out of it, but in this case we blend it together with the other 4 grape varieties, and this one here adds some honey notes, some nectar, also some great roundness in the structure in the wine.
So you call it Picolite?
Picolite, yes.
Okay, so it's like a lit at the end.
A lit, yeah.
I'd learned something today. Okay, that's good. So
Picolite,
but is that a dry white, bone dry, or is there a little bit of residual in there?
It's a dry wine. Of course, it has a little bit of residual. We vinify it together, so it's 75% that's stainless steel, 25% that's in big Slavonian oak, 80 hectoliters handmade, and that gives it a little bit more of a character, a little bit more of an elegance, a little bit more of a bold character, whereas the stainless steel really brings out all of the characteristics from these 5 grape varieties.
Okay, more variety. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about soil types and terroir, microclimate, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. We are very fortunate where we are in Friuli, in the Collio specifically, because we have the Alps in the north that are protecting us from the cold weather from Austria, from the North Europe, but we also have the Adriatic Sea, so that we have a continental kind of climate, but the Adriatic Sea also brings some Mediterranean vibes to it, and we have this special wind which is called Bora.
The Bora wind.
Bora wind. I don't know if you heard about it, but
is that a dry wind or a mountain wind or a?
It's actually a wind coming from the east and actually blows away a lot of the humidity, a lot of the clouds.
So the east, how far east are we going? Like Poland, Russia? Like, is it a very cold wind?
It's
cold and dry.
It's a very strong wind. very strong wind, and it's dry definitely. And it's great during actually when we're harvesting, because thanks to this wind, our fruits, our grapes can stay very healthy. They are dry, and we can actually leave the fruit sometimes longer on the vine to mature if needed.
So you're saying like the picolit, so if you pick it late and then let it shrivel a little bit?
Well, normally the picolit is one of the latest grapes that it's picked. It's actually, we normally finish the harvest with picolit, but in the style of vintage Turnina, it's picked all together. So it's kind of later on the harvest, but it's 1 day harvest.
What about soil types?
Soil type?
I find Friulians was very difficult to get to grips with, if I'm being honest. Help me understand them.
So the name of it is called Ponca.
Ponca?
Ponca. It's like a Pokemon. It's funny because like I've been taking around my Ponca with me.
I thought you said you were taking around your Pokemon with you.
I was taking my Ponca around with me during my last trip in the US, and
so as in a bit of soil.
Yes,
right.
a little bit.
Do they let you in with that? That's a bit. That kind of thing they get really grumpy about.
They do. I don't know. They close an eye for me, I guess. But
so you take a bit of the Ponca with you.
I took the Ponca, and they called me Ponkemon for like the longest time. But that's just a little joke apart. Regarding the soil type, exactly, it's marlstone and sandstone. So it's sedimentary sands that are compressed together. They come in layers. So the first layer on the surface is very friable. It's being consumed by the weather conditions and worked by us. When you go underneath, though, you find harder layers. And the characteristic of the Ponca is that it traps the humidity between the layers. So you have a harder layer and a little bit of a soft layer and a hard layer again. And on the hillside, we normally don't irrigate, so that the vine has to be a little bit more under stress. It concentrates its energy on fewer grapes, so the grapes itself at the end come more juicy, more rich, more flavorful. So the roots finds the water between these layers. If not, we would have to irrigate, or would be like a whole different experience.
So I may be wrong, but what I imagine with this kind of soil, and it happens with other ones as well, is rather than going straight down, the roots will have to go down a little bit and then say horizontally to find a gap, and then go down again and then horizontally again.
They basically they find their ways in the earth.
Yeah, to say if they need to go say 1 meter down, they're actually going to make a root that's maybe 2 meters long. Is that right?
They definitely have very long roots, and actually we make it that way as well, because the further deeper they can go, the more nutritious they can be. So the more energy they can have from the earth, and the more water they can actually have as well.
And there's less heat stress.
Exactly.
So basically, what you say, if I have one of your wines and you say, Monty, what do you think about it? I say, I was a little bit baked, a bit overripe. You're not going to be very happy, are you?
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen with us.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
that's good. Also in terms of
like vintage, maybe 2003 and 2007, which were like extremely hot vintages for our area. Then right now the wines like a vintage Turnina, which, as I was telling you, 86 as well, would show more than it's supposed to be. Whereas a vintage 14, which was very wet, very humid, right now it's actually showing brilliantly because of the high acidity. It gives it a long life.
So just give us a few food matches with your wines.
Vintage Turnina is like one of my favorite, and it's definitely the most representative of our winery. My favorite pairing is actually pasta with truffle. So when the truffle season is out, I definitely recommend that.
And that starts in late October?
Late October, yeah. Then I don't know, I think it's like
how much
January,
do you have?
February.
White truffles or dark truffles up there?
We don't really have truffles in our area. There's some truffles that come from Croatia and Slovenia.
So the white ones, yeah.
I would tell you wrong now.
I think they're the white ones, yeah.
I love truffles. I don't have them too much, but the pairing goes beautiful with the Turnina. And whereas the Ribolla Gialla we were talking before, that one actually goes beautifully with an aperitif. It's an aperitif kind of style.
So just on its own? Or?
On its own, because it also has less alcohol of all of them, 12.5, but the high acidity really works well on a hot summer day. And if I would pair it with something, the acidity also works very well with crudo, so with prosciutto, or also like raw fish. And some sushi would go beautifully with that, or just like some ceviche as well. The acidity really cuts through the kind of the oiliness of the crude fish.
Okay, I've got a letter in my hand which says that unfortunately the Jermann family has to move again. Sorry.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I know it's okay. But I say, right, so where would you, if you had to be parachuted into another wine region somewhere, because you're quite a crazy kid, right? You look like you're an adaptable guy, and you could do it. Where would I parachute you into?
You would throw me into the Wachau.
Oh, the Wachau, yeah,
Wachau,
okay.
yeah.
So that's a region in Austria.
A region in Austria, where they make beautiful Rieslings. Actually, my father made a wine for each of their sons, family members. We have a wine in memory of our grandparents. And so my father actually made me taste, when I was just a couple of months old, a Riesling from...
Did you remember it?
From our Riesling. I actually don't remember it at all. That's what my father told me. But hence, he dedicated a Riesling to me, and we make an Affix Riesling, which is the combination of my two names, Alojz and Felix Affix. And since then, I always really enjoyed the Rieslings. Like the Affix Spichler or the Knoll are just fabulous wines, especially their top of the range, the Smarak selection. It's they're very rich, have great character, great acidity, but also some interesting kind of like textures, and also almost these honey notes with the minerality and some petroleum going on, because they're also a little bit picked later. They have a little bit more of the sugar in it, so it's a little bit more of a full Riesling.
Okay, now
I love that.
You wear glasses. I'm not wearing mine, but I do wear glasses because I'm getting old and forgetful. And so you do a thing called virtual reality, don't you?
Yes.
Can you just set that up? We're going to do another podcast on that.
We are. It's actually, it was a really, really cool experience we did with our whole family, actually, and we actually captured some great moments. It's crazy. Like, we actually captured some of the last moments of my grandfather in the winery with us, and it was very special. So after like a month or two, he passed away after that. So it's definitely capturing some great moments of our family, of our vineyards. You can see our winery, even though if you really want to see our winery and understand who we are, you should come and visit us in Friuli.
So, but just the virtual, what does that actually mean? You got some glasses
so
on?
So basically, what we're doing right now, it's a trailer of the full experience, and this will be basically you are followed. You have a journey into our vineyard, into our family history, into our cellar, and into our wines. And after that, you'll be able to taste. After the virtual reality, it's takes 6 minutes. You'll be able to taste the Vintage Tunina and the Dreams, which is a Chardonnay-based cru wine of ours. But that's just the intro. The full experience can last 20 minutes, and you'll be able to choose from the winery to the vineyards to the family to our hospitality to our kitchen that we have all local ingredients with my grandmother's recipes. So it's definitely a full experience of our winery if you're not able to come to it.
So you basically put these glasses on. It's not like a video though, is it?
No, because literally if you turn around, everywhere you turn around, you're basically there, and there's some drone footages where you're flying over our vineyards, and if you look down, you see the vineyards, and literally you feel like you're flying. So you're flying over our vineyards, and when you're in the winery, you can see all 360 around you, up, down, left, right. You see us talking, you see our family, you can almost touch the barrels. It's fascinating.
Cool. Okay, so should we do another podcast on that?
We should. I would love to.
Okay, so I want to say thanks to my guest today, Alojz Felix Jermann.
Thank you, Monty.
And we're going to do another podcast to talk a little bit about virtual reality in his estate.
Beautiful. Thank you, Monty.
Cool.
Grazie.
Look forward to doing the next one. Ciao.
Ciao.
This podcast has been brought to you by LUX Wines, importer of fine wines, bringing you exceptional wines from esteemed winemaking families: Allegrini, Argiano, Jermann, Piero Pan, Poggio al Tesoro, Renato Ratti, and Tornatore. Find out more at luxwines.com.
Follow Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.